From imaginary flags to refs literally tackling players mid-play. These aren't just bad calls. They're the moments where refs single-handedly changed history. Let's start with the most confusing play on this list. Cooper DeJean successfully navigates the Minnesota defense to turn a shanked kick into a game-winning touchdown.
He's got a chance. He scores!
But the refs called it back, and it's for something absolutely ridiculous.
The play is under further review. My guess would be to just step out of bounds.
Turns out it wasn't about stepping out.
After reviewing the play, the returner waved his left hand, which is an invalid penalty.
I don't know, ref. I wouldn't exactly call that a wave. Iowa then threw an interception and lost by a score of 12-10. Absolutely brutal. Now for the worst call in the history of televised sports. Oregon was trailing Oklahoma late into the fourth quarter. An onside kick was looming.
Oregon shifts over there. Ball's loose. Time the ball! But hold on, Oklahoma's got the football.
Not only did OU recover the ball, Oregon touched the ball before it went 10 yards, which should have made it illegal from the start. But just wait till you hear what the refs say.
After review, there's conclusive video evidence that the ball was touched by a receiving team player, which makes the ball live.
Already a disaster. And just wait until the next play.
For Dixon. Over the middle. Flag comes in. Darian Williams may get called for pass interference. Here's defense number 41.
Only one issue. The ball was tipped, which should negate any interference call.
Tip ball on the line of scrimmage by 99.
Alright, let's try video review one more time.
After review, there is no conclusive video evidence that the ball was tipped.
Alright, at this point, why even have replay? And just one play later, Oregon sealed the win.
To the end zone!
The only justice is that the entire crew was suspended for the remainder of their schedule. Those were pretty bad, but this next one is somehow worse. What happens when the refs just can't count? In 1990, Colorado was driving late against Missouri. On 1st and goal, quarterback Charles Johnson spiked the ball to stop the clock.
Charles Johnson slams the ball on the ground to stop the clock.
But during the timeout, the chain gang never flipped the down marker. That one little error changed everything. They ran the ball, then spiked it again on what should have been the game's final play.
That's what Johnson does. Stops the clock with 2 seconds left. It will be 4th down.
But it wasn't 4th down. Colorado ran a play on the 5th down and scored the winning touchdown.
Johnson himself, is he in? Yes. Something's funky here. Did they give him an extra down? Five!
The refs realized what happened before they left the field, but still counted the score. Colorado led the nation in 5th down conversions that year, won the national championship, and the refs were rightfully suspended. Now, to a play where the down doesn't matter, but it does matter if he was down. With 6 seconds left, Duke had just completed a stunning comeback to take the lead. All they had to do was stop the kickoff. What followed was complete chaos, as the Hurricanes made 8 laterals for the game-winning touchdown.
They got blockers. No black shirts between the goal line. Can you believe what you just saw?
We can't believe it, because in reality, it never should have counted. The refs announced a block in the back penalty that erased the touchdown.
Still on the return, there was a block in the back. The play is still under review.
But during that review, they reversed the foul, something they aren't even allowed to do.
The blocking question was from the side, not from the back. It's a legal play.
They also ruled no Miami player was ever down.
After review, there was never a knee down by any of the runners of Miami.
Yet replay showed number 1's knee clearly hit the turf. All officials involved in this game were suspended by the ACC. And that's hardly the only time a late special teams ruling crushed a team's championship dreams. In the 2011 Big Ten Championship, Michigan State was closing in on its first outright conference title in decades.
Nice! He goes down inside the 5.
Keyshawn Martin's electric punt return set the Spartans up inside Wisconsin's 5-yard line, and it looked like destiny. But then,
the flag for the punt.
There it is, a late flag.
Running into the kicker. A 5-yard penalty. There's no 4th down.
That gave Wisconsin the first down it needed to end the game. With a conference title on the line, that's a call you just don't make. But this next call might be the most obvious miss in college football history. We're heading way back to the 1979 Rose Bowl, Michigan versus USC. Running back Charles White takes the handoff.
White again, and a fumble. They say he's over.
And somehow, this guy saw something we didn't. Replay shows White loses the ball midair, well, before he ever breaks the plane. That phantom score ended up being the difference, as USC held on to win 17-10. I wish we could say referees rarely make mistakes, but they seem to happen far too often. Nebraska was trying to pull off an upset against Michigan State, and late in the game, they appeared to do just that.
Armstrong, and the receiver was out of bounds. It's a touchdown, but he stepped out. Was he pushed out? That'll be the question.
And just wait until you hear the ruling.
The receiver was forced out of bounds. Came back in.
Somehow, the refs ruled that he was pushed out, even though every replay clearly showed otherwise.
Unbelievable! The Huskers had the lead with 17 seconds left.
The touchdown counted as MSU got hosed. And somehow, this next call is even worse. Every fan knows how a safety works, but apparently, these refs didn't. Ohio quarterback Tyler Tettleton was being pushed back when this happened.
Gotta get rid of it. He was about to take a 20-yard sack.
There's no receiver in sight, so intentional grounding? Fine, no issue there. But just wait until you hear what comes next.
Yep, intentional grounding in the end zone.
A safety? Yeah, we're gonna need a second angle.
He was not in the end zone when he threw that ball.
From every angle, he's clearly out of the end zone when he throws it. And just to make things worse, the head official announced the ruling couldn't be challenged.
He takes off, and the throw won't be in time.
After review, they determined it couldn't be reviewed.
That's not right.
Now, we can argue about what a catch actually is until we're blue in the face, but that debate exploded on the national stage.
And the pass is complete and fumbled. And barreling into the end zone is Jordan Fuller.
On the field, it was ruled a catch and fumble returned for a touchdown.
He's holding on to that football. It's a catch.
But on replay, the officials saw it a little differently.
After full review, the pass is incomplete.
Everyone in the stadium, and most of America watching, thought Justin Ross had it long enough. Instead, the reversal wiped away a Buckeyes touchdown and reignited the endless argument over what actually counts as a catch. Clemson walked away with the win, though the officiating community later voiced concerns about the call. Clemson also ended up on the right side of this controversial kickoff recovery in the 2015 ACC championship game.
Gets the hop, ball is still bouncing around, and the Heels have it in midfield.
Trailing by 8 with just over a minute left, North Carolina looked like they had life. The Tar Heels had just pulled off the onside kick. But then came the flag. An offside penalty on UNC, when replays showed nobody even close to crossing early.
But he's not offsides. Nobody's offsides.
That call wiped out the recovery and effectively sealed the game for Clemson. I mean, if UNC had been given another chance, Clemson's road to the national championship might have never existed. But decades earlier, Clemson was already caught up in controversial catch calls. In 1985, the Tigers ended up on the wrong side of this brutal last-second loss to Maryland.
Go ball, end zone, touchdown. Wait a minute, he have it long enough, Steve?
Tight end Pharrell Edmonds appeared to just barely hold the ball in the end zone before it hit the turf.
Look how long.
Somehow, the refs determined that this was a catch. Head coach Danny Ford was furious. And who could blame him? Moments later, the Terps kicked a game-winning field goal en route to a conference championship. Now, pass interference has always been a lightning rod. Bad enough, the NFL once made it reviewable. And nowhere was it bigger than the 2002 national championship between Ohio State and Miami.
Goes into the end zone, incomplete. The phone, everybody comes running down on the field. You gotta get in because there's a penalty flag.
Miami thought they had sealed another title, but then a flag appeared. It was a pass interference call on Miami's Glenn Sharp, even though replays showed he barely touched Chris Gamble. The penalty gave Ohio State new life. They tied the game later in that drive and eventually stunned Miami in double overtime to win the national championship. But this next call was all it took to derail Michigan State's perfect season in 2013. Michigan State and its no-fly zone defense rolled into South Bend to take on Notre Dame. But all night, the Spartans were flagged for pass interference on plays that looked like clean coverage.
Reese looks over to Robinson and another flag comes in.
Let's see which way this goes. Yep, it's going on Michigan State again.
None was bigger than this fourth down call against Trey Waynes, which extended the drive and set Notre Dame up to hand Michigan State its only loss of the year. Let's keep it rolling with defensive backs, but this time, it's the ref who makes the play. Virginia safety Juan Thornhill jumps the route and takes off toward the end zone. And then, boom, he runs straight into the referee, who looks completely lost in the play. Now, maybe Thornhill wasn't taking that pick all the way back. There were plenty of defenders in pursuit, but still, come on, man, have some self-awareness. Unfortunately, refs have become such a big part of the game that sometimes they literally become part of the play. The first example, Mitchell Trubisky in the Sun Bowl against number 18 Stanford.
Trubisky, quarterback draw, trying to get past the umpire, drop the ball, and Stanford's got it.
UNC's defense held Stanford to just a field goal, but in a game they lost by 2 points, that bounce off the ref looms large. The next ref-made play also comes from ACC country. Syracuse running back Mo Neal takes a handoff up the middle and has plenty of room to run.
Syracuse has the ball but has not possessed it all that often. Right up the middle of Neal.
What, he's going to look to the outside for a defender and doesn't see the official.
It's a 24-yard gain, but had a chance to be much bigger. Before his NFL stardom, Patrick Peterson nearly changed history for LSU in their 2010 clash with number 3 Alabama.
McElroy drifting right. Nobody open. Wow. Did he catch that?
Peterson caught it. I'll tell you that. He got a foot in, I think.
Peterson got in front of Julio Jones, secured the ball, and even left his shoe print in bounds. But then this happened.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass.
Instead of LSU getting the ball back with a chance to tie or even take the lead, Alabama tacked on a field goal to make it a 2-possession game and sealed things with an interception on the next LSU drive. This next one might be one of the most brutal blown calls you'll ever see. One that flat out cost Ole Miss a chance to tie the game. After a long completion, Ole Miss is deep in Cal territory with a chance to try to tie the game. They hurry to the line to quickly get a playoff.
He's going to throw. Caught. And they're going to mark Elijah Moore short.
But somehow, the refs rule him down inside the 1. A massive mistake.
They could have reviewed that play. There's a good chance that that's a touchdown.
With no timeouts and the clock running, Ole Miss scrambles to the line for one final chance.
Better call a play because he's got to throw it. Did he do it? It doesn't look like it.
Plumlee is stuffed. The game is over, and Ole Miss walks off stunned. Beaten not by Cal, but by one of the worst officiating calls of the entire season. Field goals are confusing, right? No? Okay, we're on the same page. But these refs for Florida and Mississippi State sure weren't.
Florida versus Mississippi State. Now it's clear to see this kick is wide to the right. This dude on the left is good. This guy on the right.
It's becoming a tradition at this point. Mississippi State in Week 5 of 2025 gave us yet another field goal controversy.
This kick is good.
Something's clearly going on with SEC officiating in 2025, because just days earlier, we got this. In a ranked SEC showdown between Oklahoma and Auburn, the Sooners blatantly manipulated the substitution process to their advantage.
Mateer has a wide-open receiver. Touchdown. Busted coverage for Auburn.
But what is really busted coverage? Or was something else going on? As Oklahoma hurried to the line, a wide receiver appeared to have left the field. But seconds later, he's back, wide open. Touchdown Sooners. The play should have resulted in a 15-yard penalty against Oklahoma.
You cannot use the substitution process to deceive your opponent. That's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. It should be 15 yards and no touchdown.
Instead, it was a touchdown, which proved to be the difference in the ball game for Oklahoma. The SEC has since admitted the officials screwed up. How much more of this do we have to take? One thing's for sure. Bad calls never go away, and as long as refs keep finding new ways to screw things up, we'll keep watching.